Hi.
Hello, Sai. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to interview you for my YouTube channel and podcast.
Thank you. I'm so happy to talk with you and for you people.
So I thought to tell about your work to my audience.
Sorry. Can you?
Yeah, I want to tell about your work to my audience.
I think that you asked me that I can explain my work
Yeah,
and
can
who I
you?
do in my day to day in Spain, for example. No. Yes, I'm a developer. I work in .NET about 20 years. The first 5 years I working with Visual Basic 4 and 3 and 5 and 6, and about 20 years I begin with .NET. In actuality, I working in cloud all the day with .NET and C Sharp, and I working in Spanish consultant calling TOKIOTA. We are very close to Microsoft. We are a gold partner, and we have a lot of mm, uh, projects with Microsoft. They give us the project, and we work together with architects of Microsoft, developers of Microsoft. In my working day, I a solution architect, but I working as developer. I like go to the ground and working with my team, and I help a lot of them. And in this moment, for example, I began a new collaboration with Microsoft and other co-workers in other country, and I talk English, but I have a little problem with my English, you know. And this is the all main theme. In other time, I do research and development with new technologies. For example, in this moment, I'm writing a document about Azure confidential computing with C++ sample. It's very hard to me work to the past 13 years ago. Is the last time when I use C++, but I think that is the same because it's the developer is programming, and I think that is not a problem, but it's like Back to the Future, for example. And this is my day to day. I working with. Uh, uh, I think that 19% of Microsoft technology. I in the front. I working with React, Angular, but it's not my scope. My scope uh, uh, is now backend. I working in the packs with full stack, with front, with desktop application, but now I full oriented to the backend and a solution architect with Microsoft technology. This is my day to day. I like to go to the community. In the last few weeks, I talked in Malaga, a town of Spain, about Graph with Cosmos DB and Neo4j, and talk about the Graph database because it's forget in a lot of projects. And that is in my day, for example. And now recently I begin MVP of Microsoft Azure and Auth0 ambassador, as well as Gitkraken ambassador. because I like some tools that I think that is so good for day to day. For example, Git Kraken is a good tool that I forget some Git command that I don't have to need in my mind, because I have a lot of work that I need to remember, or why I do this command with Git. And I like so much this tool. And I'm very happy with the MVP of Microsoft Azure, and I like to explain, to help a lot of people, and I don't have any problem. If anything, any people of the channel need some help, I can talk with you about with Twitter, for example, or by LinkedIn if you want. And I love to help. It's my other work, no paid. Yes.
So you work for Microsoft as a solutions architect.
I work, as I said before, with TOKIOTA, and maybe my main role is Microsoft Solution Architect. Yes, my oriented to Azure. On-premise is forget for me. I think that in 5 years I don't took any on-premise.
So what kind of projects you did?
Yes, I working in a lot of projects. In my beginning career, I working with CRM or ERP in a local consulting, a local product in Spain and in the main chain go to Protware. I think that you know this enterprise because it's the most CRM in the world. And now day by day is I say backend with a microservice. For example, the last project I working with the APR with Kubernetes and on Azure Kubernetes service. I like so much serverless, but in my old work, I think that we have about 200 of microservices in Microsoft with Azure Function, Logic App, something else. And now my last project is with Azure, Kubernetes, and applications in APIs, related with SQLs, for example, or GraphQL. This is my work, my main work. No something special application, maybe application for enterprise. No, nothing. I don't say the word. 1 second, please. Sorry. No spectacular application. It's the application for the work day to day with fintechs, with banks, with assurance. This is the main program, for example. In Spain, is the main programs is associated with this, with banks, with fintechs, with assurance. I think that is the 18% of the work in this country. The other 20% maybe is products for little application, but this is the biggest consultant like entity data, Avanade, for example, or like that is the work. The little enterprise like me, we are 120 people. We are working like a little squad to help other bigger squad because we are more specialized in Azure. And now I'm working with Azure Shares with Community Service for assurance application and loyals, and find all documents in a few seconds with Azure Community Search, for example. This is my last work.
So tell me about you as Microsoft MVP.
Okay, I think that is a good choice. If you have in your mind, go to the MVP, because you have a lot of access to Microsoft, a lot of tools, something like that. I don't speak because you under NDA, okay. And I began my career to MVP 3 years ago with my last change to TOKIOTA. I began to speak in the community, local community, national community in Spain, and I don't speak in English. I prefer to speak in Spanish because English have a lot of information over the world. In Spain, and in Spanish, we have a few books, only the little help for Microsoft or little help for other other tools. And I think that is an option to help to the Spanish community. And I think that I'm so sorry, but I think that the translator work with my blogs. If you find something special to find, but I oriented to them with a lot of documents like IoT in Azure, the first book in Spanish about Azure IoT, about 1,400 of pages, and now I'm writing a book about async in Spanish, because in Spain you don't find good articles, blog, or something like that, and you need to go to English. And you can see, and all your people can see, my English is so bad. No, but reading and writing is not bad for me. I'm reading, write, or view some videos in YouTube or videos of Microsoft, and I translate to Spanish and add my viewpoint or my experience for my co-workers in Spain. I think that we have in Spain a serious problem with the English.
And tell me more experiences of yours as a solutions architect.
Yes, I think my first good job in a solution architect is an application with IoT and to bring the work to people with problems. And we win the prize, I think, prize of the European Union, and this is my first big solution architect with Azure in the beginning, because this project is about 7 or 5 years ago, and it's not the best design, because the applications is the beginning of the microservice, is the beginning of something needed in Azure, and the application is most with virtual machines, SQL Server, and API. Node is with some gateway, some scale, because we begin with first deploy, and now I think that I don't work yet in this enterprise, but it's growing, and I think that is a good job because it's not this. I like to do solutions architect, but I come from software architect. I'm not infrastructure is not my big point. Okay, I think that a lot of solution architects they come from infrastructure and don't know the real problems in the software. And I think that I go to the balance or 1 second or against point in the definition of the application. I see a lot of solution architects that don't know. We don't make in whole life an API, or we have in her mind a hot and spot. No. There are some implementation was CQRS or event storming, event sourcing, serverless. I like to know. I think that solution architect need know-how about all, but we need to know well one of the two options, or infrastructure or software. But but you need to know all. If I need problem with infrastructure, I go to my coworker that is an expertise in infrastructure. I tell with I need, and both we take the better solution. And one of my biggest point is that I write something that we need in the architecture is I can do it. If my team can do it, I go to the team and yes, and work with them. I go as other developer for something time, no half time, because I can do all the work. I need to do something in other point of the application. But I think that solution architect is mandatory to know all that the teams will to do. This is my viewpoint. And there are 1 second, some fashions in solution architect. No, we need to do all in microservice. Yes, okay. Monolith is better for some application. You don't need a big solution architect and all super fashion architecture. What the problem is doing with simple monolith. Why do you? I think that in Spanish is 1 second. I think that is over architecture in some places. I think that is a big problem. And now I study and create a little book in Spanish because there are anything about it, about Microsoft Orleans frameworks. I think that is a big bullet on our work. I think that Orleans virtual architect model is a good point of view to do some microservice and do some monolith parts of the application. And I did focus in this, and I study this model, virtual actor model with Microsoft framework, Orleans framework. Okay.
Tell me about your challenges.
And the future challenges, I talk about Orleans, But now my last challenge fue, sorry, it's a Spanish word. It was an application with Dapper and Azure Kubernetes Service for a big program about football. I can't say the real name of the application. And we have points of 100 millions in 1 second of requests, and the application don't foul. I think that I work with other coworkers in the biggest application and demanded in Spain about football. Okay, football is a religion here.
So you are also a cloud consultant.
Sorry, can you please me?
You are a cloud consultant.
Yes. Maybe my role now is a cloud consultant. Yes. As I said at the beginning, on premise, I don't do it in about the last time. I think that's 7 or 5 years ago. I think that the cloud is the future, but you need to be careful with the cloud. With the cloud, you need to optimize and do very, very well code, because if you not optimize your code, you are pay a lot of money to the hosted service in the cloud. I think that the last pass we use, we don't be careful with the optimizations of the application. I begin from the first from I don't say it in English, sorry. For the beginnings of the computing, when I work in DOS, and you have a lot of problems with the memory to load some applications. With the beginning of Windows desktop, you forget that this optimization, because you add more ERM, more CPU, more hardware. And now, a lot of developers need to change this mind and optimize the code, because the code is slowly you pay to the cloud, and you need to be careful because the cloud is not cheap. I think that is my recommendation for day-to-day work.
So how many years of experience you have as a solutions architect?
Solutions architect, about 15 years, maybe. Yes, 15 years. I begin to do applications on desktop applications and some consultants application, and working with a team with a lead architect, and I learned a lot about him. I don't calling me lead, because I don't like these titles, solution developer, and I don't like this title. And now about 7-8 years ago, I have doing the application by myself as solution architect with no need of other architect. But I like to work with other architects, because they can say me that I have don't do wrong. Which I have a problem with. We can talk about the solution I propose. And in the last project, we have a lot of meetings about architecture with a lot of good architects, and I like this situation. I like work alone as solution architect with my team, but I like to work with a solution architect team because you can view a lot of information in these meetings.
And you have a lot of experience in cloud.
Yes, my experience in cloud begins with Heroku about 8 or 9 years ago, and using IBM, but I continue with Azure, and Amazon is I only do a little application with lambdas and dynamos, something like that as serverless. But I think that my orientation now, about 5 years ago, is Azure and only Azure.
And in Azure cloud, what kind of projects you did?
In this cloud in Azure.
Yeah, as a solutions architect,
Yes.
what kind of projects you did?
I do 2 biggest projects that I talk about it. Shop with serverless, with Service Bus, Event Hub, Twilio, Link, functions, a lot of functions, gateway API management, and this application we have micro frontends too in Angular, but I do the part of the payment, link with PayPal, with Spanish gateway of payments, and this application we did it with Orchid Choreography is I don't speak in English. Choreography is serverless architecture with event sourcing and CQRS. And this application in the past we have about 100 of users per day buying product. And the last one in Azure with Kubernetes and Dapper, and we are remove Dapper because we have some problem, but I think that is not problem is not understand the application to others architect. And now we are no we are not, because I'm not in the project now, but they are removing the Dapper, and it's only a standard Kubernetes application with Docker APIs in .NET, and nothing special. It's a standard microservice with Kubernetes application. I think that Dapper is a good choice, a very good choice, but you need to know that some parts of the application you need to do with the original SDK, original framework of the .NET, and in the near future change to Dapper. I think that is agnostic option to bring these applications in Kubernetes in Microsoft to move to Amazon, for example. But I think that it never doing in the reality, because in my 25 years of work, all people, I need a framework that I can go to Oracle and my SQL and but in 25 I think that one client move the database system. I think that Dapper is a good choice, but I think that a lot of people move all to one cloud to other cloud.
Any challenging project?
Now, a personal project is writing a book about async in .NET in Spanish. I have the half of the book, and I talk with some meetup in Spain, a local meetup, and in work, I think that in the next futures, we have to go to a bit change in my career. But I don't talk about this because it's in a 1 month. This is my objective as career. I think that I will go to stay as solution architect. I don't go to other top option because I very technical. I'm not good with management people, but I have people in my teams. But I think that the project manager or product owner, something like that, is not my focus. I think that I do more push in testing and testing with XUnits, testing unit testing, something like that. But I think that I talk about with my team about stress testing with Gmeter or something or keys. I don't speak in English. Application to do stress testing. I think that is my focus, and I do some hard work with my team about this kind of testing to test application on cloud and a biggest application. If you have an application with 2 users per day or 100 users per day, it's not a problem, I think. But when you have a lot of users, lot of developers in my country don't do stress tests. It's a loss, or they don't know about this. And I write a little book about 100 of page about this, and I think that I publish it in the next 2 months about this. This is my I think that my objective.
So how many services that you have used in Azure Cloud?
I use a lot of service in Azure. I think that I use the base service all. I think that I use all. The machine learning from Databricks to APIs. I do virtual machines with computer confidential. I use Kubernetes, Logic App. I do a lot of, but my favorite is Azure Functions and Lambdas in Amazon. I like serverless. I like serverless because I think that is a good choice, very quickly development, and you don't have a lot of problem with scaling, with infrastructure. I think that is my favorite. And I like so much Cosmos DB, but you need to have a little control about the cost of the application. And for example, I used about 1 year ago Azure Bugs. Azure Bugs is a good choice to doing massive computing and scale, and I liked more this application. And it's a very 1 second. Unknown service in Microsoft Azure. I think that Microsoft needs to show this product, because you need to schedule some biggest process is cheap and do it like command line application. It's a good choice.
So you talk with the clients, right, about the requirements?
Can you repeat, please, Sai?
As a solutions architect, you talk with clients.
Okay. Yes, clients is a hard part of my work. There are clients that lovely go to the new language, new service, but you find a client that's old-fashioned, all in old-fashioned way, and you need to balance hard work to show the new options to change the application. I wrote a book about well-architected framework, and this is my first or close adoption framework. This is my first step with this kind of clients, because they don't change, they don't spend money in change their product. I know a product in Spain that is all application, and when you explain this that you are dead now, you are dead. No change to the cloud now. No, you are dead now because they explained you about 10 years ago. You need to change. You need to go. You need to add more technology, and now it's dead. It's dead. You know, I think that is a big problem with a little product in Spain, a little enterprise, and that's the problem. The client, but I like to talk with client. I understand the problems and they don't change. But I think that our labor is change the mind, because consultants do it, change the viewpoint of the old-fashioned way to think. It's a very hard work.
So I'll put your website link in the description of this video on YouTube. People who finds our video on YouTube can see your website and can see the work that you're doing.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat me? Sorry.
Your website link I'll put in the description of this video on YouTube.
Okay.
I'll put my audience, my followers will see your website and they can see your work.
My work and my personal site. Okay, thank you. Yes, it's good to. I think that the articles in the blog can be translated, but the documents in speaker decks is no. But if one people likes something about Orleans framework, that is the last document I write, we can chat about this. You can follow in my Twitter, send me messages, and I love help people. It's not in my challenge, but it's my day to day. I like to help.
I will share all your links in the description of this video. All your links, your Twitter, your website, your LinkedIn, I'll share with my audience.
Okay.
They will see your work.
Yes. If you need some link, I can write in the chat or Skype if you want.
After completion of the video, you can send me.
Okay. I think I understand you. Yeah.
So At last, what is your observation about my work on YouTube?
I'm sorry. See, I not understand the question.
What do you say about my YouTube channel?
Your YouTube channel. I think that is a good choice because you can talk with people of other countries and you can view the problems or the way they do the job. I think this is a good work. You are doing a good work with that. I like.
And I am AWS DevOps engineer.
DevOps, you are working with DevOps, yes.
Yeah,
And where you are working with Jira or Azure or where you're working
AWS,
with?
Amazon Web Services,
I
Amazon,
sorry, say
Amazon Web Services,
sorry.
AWS.
Okay, yes. Okay, but I don't work with this. The last time I said you that I work with Lambdas.
Yeah, so I am AWS DevOps engineer.
Okay, I like, but I think that in Spain the DevOps engineers they are changing to SER. Is the word I say? I work here. More people I change the DevOps to this, and I think that is a problem because a lot of people don't program in whole of life and are now they are scripting a lot with bad practice variables with hardcoder, not parameter, not structured code, and I think when I see it, I think it's not good. It's not good choice. I think that this kind of people that they come from infrastructure to this scripting way of do the thing with Terraform, with Biptest or something like that, the code is bad. And I think that is a little point that the people need to do. I think that these people do it in the last when they begin to study in the university, for example, and they don't write code about 10 years. And it's a problem because it's not a good code, not maintainable. Is the word? I'm sorry. It's not maintainable code, for example. And if you have a good skill with programming, I think that your work with DevOps is a good. And people like me that come from the software view that this guy do a good job. I think that this is I think that you know problem, but I see in my country a lot of problem with that. They don't think that they need a lot of environment variable, key balls or handshake core ball, for example, or protect the variable. They hardcoded a lot, and the last project I see hardcoded connection strings with volumes in Kubernetes. Oof, I can view with dev credentials with the command line in the Azure DevOps, executing kubectl, view the production connection string. My work is say this to the client, and search, you have a lot of big problem with your security and your deployment in Kubernetes, for example. And I think that is a big problem in my country.
So right now I'm a DevOps engineer. So and I'm taking interviews for my YouTube channel, talking with experts like you who are already in the industry for a long time in the cloud industry. I'm interviewing a lot of experts like you around the world.
Yes.
So talking with people like you who already knows how to solve problems, talking with you people, what I am going to learn and how I'm going to use this knowledge in my job.
Yes. The last question is about okay, 1 second. This knowledge about the experience, I think that I go to the old school because in my beginning we don't do DevOps. DevOps is copy your file to the ES and is this work? Fine. Is this good? Fine. We don't have, we haven't got different environment. We only have production in this all times, and now I think that we have good tools to do a scale deployment, to develop to user acceptance, for example, testing or something like you like, and production with a lot of techniques that A/B testing, Canary, or something like that. We have a lot of tools and options like testing, stress testing to do a good work to send to the client a little release with a little application. We can measure all the use of the application. In my past, about 20 years ago, we don't have tools to measure the use of the some feature of the application. You have now these tools as DevOps. You can measure this feature that the product owner is mandatory. You need to do it in the next sprint, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now you can, as DevOps, set measures and using some feature flag for testing with some user and view if the option is good or is bad. And you can have data to say to the product owner, for example, that this feature is not good choice. And I think that we are in a we have a good future about this application. I see that GitHub for the infrastructure. You don't need to do some with a screen. Click in here and add this VNet. Click here and no. Stop. A script. We have a lot application to do a script, to put in Git, to view the chain, to apply and restore it if something is wrong. In the past, we don't have this. We need to go to Windows Server and add user with the view access. And 3 years ago, some people create a command line application and we can do a little scripting. I think that the DevOps is a culture for me. I think that you need to know how to explain this to the clients. They need to adopt the culture, this culture. Some developer need to know the culture, the client, the product owner. I think that you need to understand or do some course, study or read book like project Phoenix project, for example. You don't know this book about DevOps. It's a mandatory to read for all the organization. This book explains the culture, the problems, and you option to do better software. and lies better in your work. I think that is the point of view. My view. I think that the future of this is some little branch about DevOps calling MLOps, GitOps, something ops. I think that this is not the correct words. I think that you need to know DevOps, and if you are application ML ops because you are ML development or your application is about ML, for example, you are doing this, but this is a naming, not the real culture of the DevOps. I think that is the they know, and I think that for me, DevOps have in the part of ops measure, and measure the cost in Azure, in the cloud, because you can optimize the cost. And now we are view the green planet, no, the green view. The don't send in Spanish it's CO2, no, carbon problem of the carbon, etc. And you, as DevOps and your measure, can help to optimize the code to don't over consume energy, for example. It's maybe if you hear me, it's a joke. No problem. But I think that we need to know that we have do a little thing with optimization code and don't use more energy than we need. I think that it's a thing that people like you, like me, that we are super technicians, we can do, and we can. I see a lot of people don't know that you can do a little for your planet, for example. No, I don't know you are with me with this or no, but I think that is a little contributions.
Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And
Of
also,
course.
can I put this audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Yes, of course.
And I hope it reaches more people and your words helps more people.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you again for giving me your valuable time and giving answers to some of my questions and sharing your experience.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Sia. I enjoy with this conversation.
So keep inspiring and keep helping people and motivate more people with your technology knowledge.
Thank you.
Take care.
I don't have any question. Thank you.